Ladies and gentlemen, let's game into the video. It is the 30th of November, and so I figured I'd put out one final video which is going to go over the Steam sale primarily. I will mention a few other services as well, but this is going to be focused primarily on Steam to go over my final picks, final suggestions and great deals that you can pick up. Some of these games are ludicrously cheap. We're talking less than £1, all the way up to some of the bigger releases, and give you kind of my final thoughts. If you've not picked up some titles, then this is of course pretty much your last set of hours to do so. So I'm going to go from the front page first, blast over today's featured highlights, and then after I've done that, I'm going to go into some of the lesser known deals, and also to reiterate some of the other titles that I have mentioned previously, but I just wanted to kind of give them their own few minutes of fame once again. So, are we ready? Are we set? Then let's begin, shall we? So first one I want to discuss is Binding of Isaac. So currently there is Rebirth doing the rounds, as well as the original Binding of Isaac. Both are pretty cheap. Rebirth, however, is just £7.25. I'm going to give all of these in the original, in Great British Pound price. I was about to say the original prices, that doesn't make sense. So Binding of Isaac is actually pretty cheap by itself. The original Binding of Isaac is just £3.99. I've seen it slightly cheaper than that, but it's well picking up. It's a pretty fucked up game, actually. And that's not a very good way of actually describing it. It is local co-op in the case of Binding of Isaac Rebirth. The fact is that you are basically playing as I guess you could say pretty much an infant, and you are dealing with pretty traumatic themes. For example, childhood abandonment, you're dealing with child abuse, and all of these themes have been put into this rather macabre setting where you're basically fighting against demons and God knows what else. It's one of the weirdest games that I've played, and I am probably not doing it verbal justice. We have covered it on the channel before, so I'd recommend at least picking this one up or checking it out. Personally, if you don't want to plunge all the way into Rebirth, at the very least check out the original Binding of Isaac. Next game that I do want to mention is XCOM Enemy Unknown, another one we have covered on the channel before. There is also a PC demo available. This one is probably one of the most well-received reimaginings of a beloved franchise in quite some time. The basic idea here is that you are going to be defending against aliens. Pretty well played out idea, right? It's not anything amazingly new, but it is a really well executed strategy / RTS. It's turn-based gameplay, so there is that to bear in mind, which is something that I personally am not so much into. I prefer more real-time, which I guess, is just part of my personality, but still, it is a really good game, and for $3.74 you can pick up the base game, or you can pick up the complete pack, which comes with various pieces of DLC just for $4.99. Well worth it. Terraria. I think this is another one that's been on sale like a billion times, but I do want to at least speak about it for a moment. Essentially, the game had a massive update fairly recently where the developers had kind of hinted that they were done with it, but then they must have come back and put loads of love into it, and then since then, damn. You can do anything in this one. I guess the best way to describe it would be Minecraft, but more of a focus on combat, but 2D. So it's pretty much focused with the idea of co-op in mind, and it really is fun if you're willing to put the time in. This is not a quickie. It's 2D, procedurally generated. So it's kind of a cross between Minecraft in the building and a Metrovania type of game in terms of the combat. Very addictive. Absolutely love the damn thing. And for $2.37, it's a really good bargain. Or, if you can get some friends, you can pick up a 4-pack of it for just about £7, which is not shabby. I realise that there are a lot of other titles, so I'm going to try and get through these a bit faster. Dragon Age Origins is available for £3.74. Fantastic RPG, absolutely brilliant. The only problem with this game is that I would recommend instead you pick up the Ultimate Edition because you get a lot more content. This is a slower paced game, and you can tell that the combat has aged some, the graphics have aged some. It's in that position where it's not quite the modern Dragon Age or the modern day way of doing games, but basically it's the transition period between KOTOR to Dragon Age Inquisition, if that makes any sense. But an absolutely fantastic game, and I would not hesitate to recommend it to anyone. Dead Island is next. So you've got the franchise available for 80% off. So you can go ahead and pick this one up if you so desire. You can buy the collection for $4.99, which is the original Dead Island. Just to clarify, that gives you Riptide, Game of the Year Edition, some other DLC for just $4.99, or you can pick up the original Dead Island or whatever else. How do I feel about Dead Island? Well, I think it was a reasonable game, but it got way overhyped with the trailers they released for it. And I think that actually hurt them. The game itself isn't bad. It's kind of a zombie survival-y type of game. In some ways, it kind of reminds me of Far Cry, but with much more limited weapons. And I mean the original Far Cry, with much more limited weapons and an emphasis on slower-paced combat and zombies. It's not as good, however. It's a good game. I would still recommend it, but it just did not live up to the hype. For this price, if you're looking for a game, go ahead and try it out. That's the best way of describing this title. Dying Light. I've seen this cheaper, actually on GMG, but their offer, which was I think about £11, is now ended. So Dying Light, what is it? It's an open world action survival game, basically first person, so there is some parkour in there, a lot of violence, a lot of blood. The basic premise here is that yes, you are overrun with zombies, but the reason it's called Dying Light, and here's the rub, light is your friend. As the game world starts to become more darker, as nighttime starts creeping in, zombies become a lot more aggressive and a lot stronger. So in other words, you can adventure outside during the dark. That's absolutely your prerogative. You can do whatever the hell you like. But prepare thy anus, because they're not friendly during the nighttime hours. Good game. Well worth picking up. PC demo is available. It is one of the more expensive titles on offer today that I'm recommending. I do, however, want to talk to you about a few other titles. These are ones which are not necessarily on the front page, but I do want to talk about them anyway. They're more, I wouldn't say hidden gems or anything like that, but they are really good titles and they do deserve at least a brief mention. So the first one I want to talk about is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. It's really cheap at the moment, 85% off, £1.64. It's quite a short game, to be honest. It's an epic emotional tale. Basically it's a co-op experience but with single player attributes. That doesn't make much sense, but essentially you're controlling both of the two children, and the idea here is that it's focused purely on narrative. It's a very good game. It was well received critically in 2013, and for the price, which is basically nothing, you know, you can't even buy a coffee in London for that price, you're getting a lot of content. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I can't emphasize this game enough. Next one, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 are cheap at the moment. I would highly suggest buying both of them and playing them sequentially. The save file, as far as I'm aware, doesn't carry over, but actually I think it might for some of the decisions. But the basic gist is the reason you want to do that is because if you play 1 first, you're going to have a much better understanding of 2. Now, some people are going to criticize 2, and some of the criticisms are somewhat well deserved, but it has recently received a large-ass patch which has fixed a lot of the original problems in the game, and with that combined with the restoration mods, it makes the game a lot better than what it was originally. I don't have any qualms at all recommending that game. Next one, Dishonored. It's basically free. It's £2.49. Although the Brigmore Witches and other DLC are certainly really good and well worth picking up, the base Dishonored is definitely worth it by itself. There's a lot of content there for £2.49. You're going to have yourself a good time, and you're going to last for some time as well. It's not a short game by any stretch of imagination. Even if you're trying to rush through it, you're going to have enough story elements there to keep you immersed for some time. But the good thing is, if you do decide, hey, you know what, I'm going to try and max out my character, I'm going to explore every nook, every cranny, then there is a lot of secrets, a lot of stuff to see, a lot of notes, a lot of rich lore that you can delve into, and of course the sequel is going to be out fairly soon as well, so why not cash in and, well, kind of make use of that. Wolfenstein: The New Order. I've recommended this a couple of times now. For the price, which is basically £5, you can't go wrong. I would highly suggest The New Order over the Old Blood. Not because the Old Blood is bad, but if you don't own either, A, The New Order comes first in the storyline, and B, it's a longer game. So yes, you get the story, and B, it's a longer game. So if you don't own either of them, get The New Order first. By which time you've completed it, the Old Blood will be on sale because it will be the Christmas sale, right, in a couple of weeks. So it might go cheaper by then, who the hell knows. This War of Mine I'd also like to recommend. This is another game that I've actually not got to try out yet. A couple of friends of mine have. It's £5 at the moment. It's a really screwed up way of telling a war story from the point of view of civilians. Essentially, you're not a cop. You're not a member of the army. You are not someone who's had military training. You are just Bob, or whomever, a group of survivors, and your job is to basically live. You're going to die of starvation. You're going to die because you're getting ravaged to shit by other outside forces. It's not a happy game. I'm warning you. If you're looking for a feel-good game, jog on. This is not it. This is like depression. By the way, oh, you've got a little happiness nerfs? Hey bro, how would you like some more depression? But it's a very good game. It's a good narrative. I'm just warning you that, yeah, I know some people really are sensitive to that stuff. I like that type of stuff. In small spurts, in small doses. Yeah, anyway. South Park. Also want to recommend this one. South Park: The Stick of Truth. Actually, I was just about to recommend this game, and the price has gone up. So, yeah, that's a thing. It was actually really cheap just a few hours ago, and now the price is absolutely rocketed up. So I don't know what the hell's going on with there. It's literally full price at the moment. So I guess we're going to be scratching that one off. Sorry about it, guys. I thought it was fine. And then I refreshed the page, and now it's back to full price. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that one. Nope, just tried another hard refresh and it's still the same. So I don't know if Steam's bugging out or what, it's just going weird. If you want some ultra cheap games, may I suggest to you anything by Zeboyd? That would be Zeboyd Games. They do a lot of stuff, including Breath of Death 7, Cthulhu Saves the World, as well as a pack of Cthulhu Saves the World and Breath of Death 7, and even Penny Arcades on the Rain-Slick Precipice of Darkness 3. That is quite the name. And you can also pick up Precipice of Darkness 4 if you so desire. The reason I mention them is because Cthulhu Saves the World and Breath of Death are available in a double pack. How much for? I hear you scream. You ready for it? Wait for it? 33p. I'm serious. Cthulhu Saves the World is definitely the stronger of the two, but because there's no difference in price, I'd suggest it. It's a very old school epic parody RPG, so it's 8-bit, but it's still a solid game. I mean, I can't put it any other way. I would suggest just trying it. If you're interested in the old school RPGs, the old school, and by old school I mean old school RPGs, loads of text, you're going to have to do a lot of exploring, combat is slow, all of that stuff, then it's well worth picking up. Or if you're a fan of Cthulhu, you know, that could also sway it for you. Evoland is another one that we checked out on RGT, and another game that I actually really like. So what is Evoland? Well, it starts out with very, 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 very basic graphics. We're talking 8-bit, and then slowly you start to see the evolution. You see how Evoland works? You see? You see? Huh? Eh? You see the evolution of the game and the genre. So, for the sake of argument, 8-bit graphics will turn to 16-bit graphics to eventually, you know, the old school 32-bit graphics up to more modern graphics. You will start seeing introduction of other gameplay mechanics, and eventually the game will become more and more like the games you're used to now, as opposed to the old school, you know, click this button to attack this target. It's well worth it. For $3.49, it's only 50% off, but in my opinion, it's well worth checking out. If you're a fan of Final Fantasy, Zelda, if you're interested in games like Torchlight, I'd suggest it. Finally, speaking of Torchlight, there is Torchlight 2, which is available for $7.49. It's not the steepest discount it's ever been at, but it's not a bad discount either. There is a demo of it available, or you can pick up the original Torchlight. However, in my opinion, unless you want to see the storyline for both, I would suggest just picking up the original Torchlight. Before I let you all go, do bear in mind that GMG are still finalising their sale. Their sale's finishing up pretty soon. There are some reasonable deals going on, particularly if you're in the VIP area. VIP area for GMG is actually pretty nice at the moment. You can get, for example, Tropico 5 for £7.50, the original Skyrim for £2, I shit you not. Fallout, the original, for £2 as well. Hotline Miami 2, wrong number, for £6. Not much else other than those, which are pretty good in my opinion. Shadowrun's okay. But aside from that, most of their deals are very samey that you've seen throughout. And honestly, there are some deals which are actually worse than Steam by, I wouldn't say a big factor, but by, you know, a small margin. So I personally would just buy them from Steam just because it's quicker. But aside from that, Origin still have their deals. I would once again still recommend getting the Mass Effect trilogy. If you've not, just do be aware of the whole DLC problems with Mass Effect. You've got Battlefield, Dragon Age Inquisition once again is really cheap, but do remember that Dragon Age Inquisition is free on the Xbox One if you have the EA Access thing, but of course you're playing on the Xbox One, so that's of course down to you. And that's pretty much it. I will of course be covering the Steam sales as well when they pop out, but I did want to discuss some of those deals today simply because games like Cthulhu and let's see, KOTOR, Brothers, and Z-Boyd games I'd not mentioned before, so I just wanted to kind of throw those out there. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.